Today in Hong Kong, schools adapt to severe weather, a controversial claim in a tragic fire inquiry, and the surprising tale of a bizarre act of vandalism. Hi, I'm Leah.
And I'm Garrett. Welcome to Laid Back Local, the news of the day, with Leah and Garrett, reporting from Hong Kong.
First up, Hong Kong has downgraded the red rainstorm warning to amber, and afternoon classes are set to resume after this morning's suspension. Here's the timeline. The Hong Kong Observatory, which is our official weather service, issued a red rainstorm warning at 7:40 a.m., prompting the Education Bureau to suspend morning classes citywide. At 9:25 a.m., that was downgraded to amber, which means the rain is still heavy but not at the highest danger level. Schools stayed open to look after students who had already arrived, which is standard, so kids aren't stuck traveling in hazardous conditions. Officials said afternoon classes could go ahead if the warning was canceled or eased by 10:30 a.m. The observatory still cautioned about road flooding and traffic congestion, so plan extra time if you have to be out. Quick note on the colors. Red means widespread heavy rain with risk of serious flooding. Amber still signals heavy rain, but generally with lower immediate risk, so still be careful. Garrett, why do schools stay open under such severe weather, even if classes are suspended?
It's about safety, honestly. If a student has already braved the rain to get to campus, the safest move is to keep them indoors with adults around, rather than sending them back into flooded streets. Hong Kong's weather warning system is pretty dialed in. It gives clear tiers so families and schools can make quick, consistent calls. I know it sounds surprising to non-locals that schools remain open during severe rain, but here, with flash flooding and slope runoff a real risk, centralized care is a smart buffer until travel conditions improve. If you have to commute right now, check the transport department's live updates. Even a short detour can make a big difference today. Next up, a controversial claim about fire alarms during the Tai Po blaze has sparked outrage. At a public inquiry, basically a formal fact-finding hearing, into the deadly fire at Wong Fuk Court in Tai Po in November 2025, a contractor suggested that working fire alarms would not have saved lives. The presiding judge pushed back hard on that idea. The blaze killed 168 people and left nearly 5,000 homeless. Testimony focused on how quickly the fire spread, reportedly fueled by combustible materials, with some safety systems deactivated during renovation. Legal discussions are now looking at beefing up fire safety rules and tackling anti-competitive practices in construction, which is when firms limit fair competition, like bid rigging, and that can erode safety standards.
That claim about alarms not helping is a no-go for me. Fire alarms are the first line of warning. They buy people seconds to react, and seconds save lives. We've learned that lesson the hardest way from so many tragedies globally. If systems were deactivated, even for renovations, that's a red flag. Strong oversight matters here. Clear rules, real enforcement, and accountability up and down the chain. If the inquiry leads to tougher requirements and closes loopholes where cutting corners could happen, that's the direction we need to go. Next up, a Hong Kong housewife has been convicted of bizarre vandalism involving feces. Eastern Court, which handles a range of criminal and civil cases, found 59-year-old Suen Siu Fong guilty of criminal damage after she threw feces onto a neighbor's air conditioner and damaged their security camera. The camera had just been installed on a corridor in Shao Kei Wan in May 2025, and footage showed her tampering with it shortly after. She argued it was an accident, but the court cited her behavior and the fact she was on the floor below her home with no clear reason. Conviction came down yesterday.
That's definitely not what I expected. Bizarre and serious. The big takeaway is that criminal damage covers intentionally or recklessly damaging someone else's property, and courts take that quite literally, even if the object seems minor. Security footage can be decisive. Cameras don't just deter, they provide clear evidence when things go sideways. If you're in a building dealing with nuisance behavior, video can be the difference between hearsay and a solid case. Switching gears to the economy, Hong Kong Investment Corporation's patient capital strategy is yielding massive returns. HKIC is a state-owned investment firm here, and it reported a 175% jump in investment income for 2025 to 6.46 billion Hong Kong dollars. Patient capital just means long-term investing, money that can wait for sustainable growth instead of chasing quick flips. They've backed over 200 projects, and Financial Secretary Paul Chan Mopo, he's the government's top finance official, highlighted this as part of a capital, technology, and talent cycle to speed up economic growth. HKIC says it wants Hong Kong positioned as a global superconnector and super value adder, basically a hub that links markets and also upgrades the value of what passes through. They even defied the usual venture J-curve, which is that common early dip in returns before startups take off.
I like the steady approach here. If they're really beating that early J-curve slump, that's notable. It suggests they're picking projects with near-term traction while still building for the long haul. As always, we'll want transparency on where the bets go and how risks are managed. But if patient capital translates to durable jobs, stronger tech, and homegrown talent staying in the city, that's the kind of growth that holds up when the winds change. Last up, Hong Kong's top DSE scorers are sharing some unconventional study techniques. DSE, the Diploma of Secondary Education, is our main university entrance exam. Students who aced it this year talked about using Pomodoro timers, short 25-minute focus sprints with quick breaks to avoid burnout. One student, Wang Lok Yin from PLK Law's Foundation College, leaned on those intervals to stay sharp. Another, Sonia Tongxiunga from Yinghua Girls College, kept a mistake booklet, which is a running log of errors to revisit and learn from. They also used AI tools selectively for language practice, but warned against over-reliance so real understanding sticks. Balance is the keyword. Tech helps, but discipline and reflection carry you.
Yeah, that checks out. The Pomodoro thing is like interval training for your brain. I use a similar rhythm when I'm in the workshop. Measure, cut, pause, repeat. What stood out to me is their advice to keep AI in its lane. It's great for drills or quick feedback, but if you let it do the heavy lifting, you miss the muscle-building part of learning. The mistake booklet is genius. Logging errors turns stumbles into a roadmap. That's pretty cool, right?
That's all for today in Hong Kong on Laid Back Local, the news of the day with Leah and Garrett.
Stay safe, stay informed, and join us again tomorrow.